Welcome to CSE 353 Systems Security. This is the starting walkthrough, the beginning part of our walkthrough for, gosh, I just lost my train of thought and I think I need another cup of coffee. Let me start over again. Everybody with me? I'm just going to clip that part. Welcome to CSE 353. We're going to walk through the first steps of how to connect to your remote server in order to be able to perform the tasks for the 3.3 solution, role-based access and encryption. You will have your own dedicated server and you'll access this. Basically what I'm going to do for each of you as soon as we finish recording this example of how to connect, you're going to be given, and I'll use the notional identity of a student in this class. Let's say we have a student named Betsy Williams. Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
Okay, and let's say that Betsy is assigned to the server called Mars in the groovy.net or groovy.local, right? Groovy.local. Let's see, let's do it this way. Yeah. So groovy.local is the internal Active Directory domain, an enterprise environment, centralized security account management, right? And on the perimeter of the network is a public domain called groovy.net. And Betsy will be using Mars. So essentially, when we're connecting, the fully qualified domain name for that system is Mars, all lowercase, groovy.local. Okay, that's the domain. And remember, .local is just a clean best practice method of identifying that an Active Directory domain is on a private internal network that's not exposed to the public network. But the public domain has a website and email and all that coolness, okay? Now, just like Betsy, when you work with me, I have a dedicated server by name. And what I'm going to do is set up a port number that you'll use to access your designated server. So I would give, let's pretend that for Betsy, it's sitting on port 8085. Betsy's going to take this information and she's going to go to her remote desktop app. You can go to the Microsoft Store and load the remote desktop app. If you have a Mac, you can install it with the App Store. It's actually available there, but you're going to click on this and then you'll have a chance to configure with the IP address and the port so that you'll have a chance to connect. Once you connect, you're going to see a username and password. Does everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what you're going to see. And if this were Betsy doing it, she'd say, okay, groovy, in all caps, backslash, not forward slash, but backslash. Her user account is going to be her first initial and last name. That's going to be true for you too. So you'll use your first initial and last name, all lowercase, no space, first initial and last name, right? Now here's the fun part. Your password is going to be a combination of characters, and the last four are the last four numbers of your student ID. So I have already looked up the last four numbers of your student ID. I don't have to tell you what they are. You know the last four numbers of your student ID. But what we've done here is use this this initial part, right? This is the piece that you have to remember. Your password is going to be the word remote, except I'm going to use a 0 instead of a lowercase o. I'm not using the letter O, I'm using the number 0. And this is a dash, right? And then what comes next, XXXX, is your student, the last 4 of your student ID. Now, believe it or not, every year I have assumed that when I cover this in class, right, and I don't record it, and I don't put a link out there to say, hey, in case you missed the class, what happens is that for some reason, students take the port number associated with the socket on the IP address and their last 4 of their student ID. And I know this sounds crazy, but they mix these two up. So they can't log in, they can't log in, they can't log in. What's going to happen today is that before we leave our class, I'm going to log in on your machine. Then you're going to log in on your machine. So if you say, I can't do it, I'm going to be scratching my head, but we're going to solve the problem together. And it could be something simple like reconfiguring your DNS, or, changing a firewall rule. We'll do some troubleshooting to make sure that you can log in just as I log in. I'm going to stop the recording and stop the screen share. And then we're going to take turns getting each of you good. I'm going to send you an email live. So you'll need to have your email screen ready to receive an email. And I will give you the port number that you need to have to connect to your system, okay? In the email message. And then the rest, I've already explained. What is your login account? It's your first initial and last name. But you have to do this other part. What are you going to put here for 4 numbers? Well, your password is going to be this word plus the 4 numbers, the last 4 numbers of your student ID. Any questions on how to remotely access your system to perform the steps of your solution? Okay. I'll go ahead and let's take turns and make sure everybody can get on there, okay?